All right, Sag, you have some pretty interesting ones here. So this week from Lay Vampire, Sagittarius, you pulled Outsider, Misfit, Loner, and Wanderer. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Passion. Now, Outsider, the blessing says you have been given the opportunity to find your own way and to see the world from a unique perspective. This will give you great creative, artistic, and spiritual opportunities. And then working with this card says, accepting the outsider's position for now, you can observe, watch, see, and record. This will make you a valuable writer, artist, teacher. Your unique perspective will be greatly valued. Now, for some of you, I kind of feel like with Passion that you have been pushed to the outside because of what your passion is. Now, on the other hand, for some of you, your passions are going to open you up to a creative opportunity here, but it's only going to be through the outsider's perspective. Now, the very first quote for this card says, I quietly sizzle and shine, which I think is perfect for Sag. The inspiration says, you are correct to feel passionate about your position. Follow your instincts, for you know intuitively what is right for you. The personal question asks, are my daily actions supporting my real passion? What am I willing to stand for? The key ideas are following your passion, being authentic, taking a stand for yourself, being acknowledged, being emotionally centered, and a happy outcome. So I think that even if you are being pushed to the outsider's position here because of your passion, it's not affecting you negatively. You're going to turn it into something that's going to be greatly valued. But between the two, it's perfect in terms of, creative inspiration. All right, Saggy, here we go. Here's the energy coming through, the Hierophant. Now, I kind of feel that stubborn energy again, just a little bit. But immediately I wanted to go, oh, yes. Right? Spiritually grounded. Now, with the Hierophant too, it can be talking about commitments. The other thing is that it is about doing things in the traditional sense. Basically doing what you know works for you. And this can also talk about, that spiritual enlightenment too. It could be talking about somebody coming through to help you with that, but I don't know. I don't see that so much with Sag as far as like the group thing, and I don't feel conformity either. I feel okay with the Hierophant being the signifier for this, but, we shall see how this is playing out here. Now, in the past, the Six of Swords, so movement for some of you. But I don't feel like this is physical. I feel more like this is movement into, that more calmer emotional state, because there's stability with the Hierophant there. Now, for some of you, there may be something in the past that was a little bit too conflicting. There's always that little bit of sadness with the Six of Swords for me because, this isn't something that anybody expects that they have to do. But again, the whole point is to move away from conflict of the past. And in the present, the Seven of Coins. So now, if we're talking about, career changes here, with the Seven of Coins, it's basically you reevaluating the situation. Am I seeing the results of the efforts that I'm putting through here, or is there something else that I can be doing? Do I continue to do things the way that I have been, or do I take a risk? And with the Hierophant, that may be where that stubborn feeling is coming in, where you continue to do things the same way. The problem is if you do that, you may end up with, that energy of the Six of Swords all over again. Future conditions, so very nice. Now with the Three of Coins, again, you move into from the 7 to the 3. So to me, this is saying that maybe something wasn't working out for you. And now you're moving into a situation here where there may be something new opening up, whether it's a new job, going back to school, learning something, right? Because you're talking about the higher education too with the Hierophant. But either way, it looks good in terms of the movement. It doesn't necessarily feel like you have just dropped anything here. Basically, you took a different route when you're looking at the Seven of Coins. So things did not develop the way that you wanted it to. You did not see the results that you wanted. But now you're moving into something that's a little bit better. And it has potential. When you're looking at the Three of Coins, I feel like for some of you, you're going to get the recognition that you deserve through the hard work that you're doing. Now, on the other hand, you could be working with a group of people. Looking at the Hierophant and the Three of Coins, it is talking about the group. But again, I don't feel conformity with this. I feel like for you, even though it may be taking a risk, I do feel like you're still doing things in a way that you know works for you with the Hierophant, even though you're moving from the 7 to the 3 here. But again, there's recognition for what you're doing. Oh, your best path to follow, the 7 of Swords. Why? Why? That card bugs me. Now, for some of you, this may be something where, and it's funny because I look at the fingers crossed and I'm thinking of somebody who's like, oh yeah, I hope I get lucky, right? Like I hope I get lucky in this situation. The 7 of Swords, though, is things being kept on the down low, things that are being kept secretive, things that are not coming out. Now, for some of you, if you're like deciding to make a switch here, whether it has to do with, you know, your career or learning something new or like switching a major in school, whatever it is, the 7 of Swords here is basically saying that the best path to follow is not to discuss what your plans are. That may be, I'm not, it can point back to conformity, but I'm not feeling it. Like I'm not feeling conformity at all. You know, it still feels a little bit stubborn though with the Hierophant. But again, with the 5, things are changing here. But I don't know, you know, there's a reason why. There's like a reason why the 7 of Swords shows up here. You know, and a lot of times it's not clear until it's like right in front of your face. But we'll see what else is playing out here. But for some reason, the best path for you to follow is to keep quiet. In your environment, the 7 of Cups, and the 7 energy, but you move to the 3. Now, the 7 of Cups being in your environment is basically talking about not knowing what the best option is. Especially if you're moving away from a situation that was not producing the results that you wanted to see. You have to be careful, right? Because it is fantasy land. It's wishful thinking. But then on the other hand, with the 7 of Coins, you're thinking practically. It's just that you're not seeing what the best option is just yet. But you get there. But again, for some reason, it's like hush hush. You know, and you've got all this 7 energy going on. My goodness. The timing has to be just right for you to make the move. But I'm not feeling anything bad, like there's something negative that, you know, is the reason why you have to stay quiet. It's just maybe it's not something you should reveal yet until you know for sure what the best option is and how you're going to move forward. But either way, like you move into the 3, so it is something new. Oh yeah, your hopes and your fears, the Fool. So definitely going out on a completely new path, completely new. You know, the Fool, just like with Judgment for me, has the clean slate feeling. The Fool is basically saying that you need to go into the new situation with no preconceived notions of nothing. This is the clean soul. But it's also saying that you need to have faith. You need to have faith with the process. There's a reason why things are unfolding the way that they are for you to get to this point here. But the Fool is definitely talking about you hoping to start a new path, a brand new path here in terms of work and finances, something where you can show off your own abilities here and be recognized for it. Oh yeah, I'm telling you. The Wheel of Fortune, talking about timing. Have faith because the timing will show up for you. Oh my God. So yes, Sagittarius, if you are in a situation right now where you don't know what the best option is and you're not seeing the results that you want to see, I want to say have patience. I'm surprised Temperance isn't showing up. Have faith though. Have faith. Have faith in this process, because the wheel is suggesting that this is going to be a new cycle for you where there's going to be really good things happening, and maybe you're doing some spiritual work, but more in terms of, some spiritual work that has some financial potential though too. It's just you have to wait. You have to wait for the timing to be right. And that may be where the Seven of Swords is coming in. Don't worry about making any definite plans just yet, right? And whatever you're thinking about doing, if you're not clear on the options, you definitely don't want to talk about what your next steps are going to be. Maybe this is something that you need to keep quiet, especially if you're moving from one employment to the next. But either way, the timing, I'm telling you, the timing. But that's perfect coming out, especially with the energy of the Fool. It's beautiful. All right, Sag, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what else is going on for you guys. Your readings, man, they just blow me away. And that may be the issue. You need some assurance first, right? But integration is talking about the integration of the body, the mind, and the spirit. And what's funny is that brings me back to the Hierophant. Now, traditionally, you see it as the Pope. And having been through Catholic school, I immediately feel like going Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? But this is about the mind, the body, and the spirit all being in the right direction. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune coming out. But truth, right? If you're going to follow your passion here, what is your passion? What is your truth? But, before you do it, it's like you need to have assurance. But this is saying, too, that, the universe acknowledges what is happening here. I'm telling you. And that is just assuring you that you are on the path that you're meant to be on. That things are going to be okay in the end. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, Sag. Now I'm going to pull a couple of cards here from Whispers of Love to see what other messages we can get for you guys in terms of attracting love into your life. But this is a beautiful reading. It's amazing. Choose love. You always have a choice as to what you should do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Appreciate this moment. Each and every situation has an opportunity to grow and find love. Absolutely. Beautiful. It's beautiful messages. And that brings me back to the Seven of Coins. In terms of relationships, you guys look fine, right? Choose love and appreciate the moment. But then also in terms of what you're doing as far as work and career and what you have a passion for, Sag, the timing is right. The timing will be right for you guys to start something new here. And it looks fantastic. All right, Sag. So yeah, timing is going to be an important part for what is going on for you this week. But I feel like for a lot of you, the reason why you're looking at the Hierophant as your overall energy for this is because you're looking at doing what you know works for you. Now, I think you weren't doing that in the past because looking at the Six of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles or the Seven of Coins, you're not seeing the results that you want because you move. You move from the 7 to the 3. You're reevaluating things here and you move into something different. Now, for some of you, this could be a new position, a new creative project, or learning something new with the Hierophant here. Like literally changing your course of study. Now, as far as the Seven of Swords, I feel like the reason why you need to be quiet about what your plans are is not just because it may affect other people, but it's because you're not really sure on how you're moving forward. It's there, but the best option forward isn't right now. But the thing is like I said, you move into the 3 and connected with the Wheel of Fortune, yes. The timing will present itself for you, but definitely the time is right for you to move forward on learning something new or starting a new project, definitely. And with the Fool, absolutely, it is a new path. And you need to have faith with the process here, but beautiful reading. I'm not seeing the Seven of Swords as a bad thing, but timing is important here. Now, as far as outsider and passion, if you have something creative that you're doing here, now is the time to start putting that into play here because it has the potential to have some financial gain for you. But then also, your outside perspective and your God-given wisdom is going to create something valuable for other people, though, too, looking at outsider and passion. But definitely you want to follow your passions, even if you're being pushed to the outsider's perspective because of it. Because passion does talk about taking a stand for yourself and your passions. But I'm not seeing anything negative here. I just think that, now is not the time to discuss your plans. Not until you have that absolute clarity. It's coming, and it's going to put you in a really good spot, but the timing has to be just right. Now, integration, truth, and assurance. So integration is basically talking about getting this under control, right? Knowing what your options are and making sure that what you're thinking and feeling and wanting is all going in the same direction. That's where you're going to start to see what your truth is. But then, there's assurance there. And it's also saying that you want assurance with what you're doing. But I think you're fine. And now, in terms of love, appreciate this moment and choose love. You always have a choice. You always have a choice when it comes to your relationships. But I think the choice here is on continuous growth. But it's important to appreciate all the moments. But Sag, amazing reading. And again, timing is going to be important here, but it's going to be working out definitely in your favor.